Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to create a program that takes in the speed of train 1, the speed of train 2. It assumes they leave at the train stations at the same time, are some distance apart, which it'll take in, and they're heading directly toward one another, and it wants to know when they're going to meet, and it's going to calculate that. So, for instance, if train 1 is going 45, train 2 is going 73 miles per hour, and they are 126 miles apart, they will meet in 1.06 and so on hours. And if I want to do another calculation, I'm going to click yes. Let's say this time train 1 is going 34, train 2 is going 89. What is the distance between the two trains? Let's say 118. I submit. They're going to meet in a little less than an hour. Do I want to do another calculation? This time I'm going to say no. It says thank you for using the program. So that's the program we are going to create. Okay. So I'm going to bring up a text editor. I have Atom open. You can use whatever. And I'm going to create some files. So I'm going to create an index.php file. I'm going to create a form.php file. I'm going to create a form-handler.php file. And I'm going to create a script.js file. Okay, so let's go to the index.php. I'm going to expand framework by just typing HTML and then expanding. I want a viewport tag, so I'm going to include that. All I'm going to type here is, let's see, width equals device-width. Initial, let me move this, scale equals 1.0. The title is going to just be trains meet, something like that. I'm going to bring in some Bootstrap CSS just for a basic framework, so I'll make a little comment here. I'm going to go to the Bootstrap page here, and let's go up here, get the CSS, paste that in. I do want to toggle soft wrap. Okay, and then I'm also going to, just for the good habit, include the JS bundle here. So I'm just going to say Bootstrap JS bundle, and I'm just bringing in the CDN here and paste that in. We're also going to do our own little file for JavaScript. So let's just say something, make a comment like my script. And I'm just going to have a script source equal to script.js. And I don't need any space in between those. So let's bring this back up. Okay, now for the outline, we're going to have a div with a class of container. With inside the div, we're going to have a div with a class of row. With inside that, we're going to have a div with a column with a breakpoint of medium. 4 columns large, offset with a breakpoint of medium, 4 columns large. So for medium and above screens, that will center it. Also, let me include in the container, I want a margin top of 5, padding top of 5. That's going to bring it down a little bit. Inside of here, we're going to have a form. I don't really care about the class. The action is going to be form.php. Method is going to be post, which is fine. I'm going to create a div inside of here with a margin bottom of 3. Inside of that, I'm going to create a label. We're going to say that the label is for velocity -1. And I'm going to say something like, what is the speed? Let me move this up here a little bit. In miles per hour of train 1, question mark. We're going to have an input. The type is going to be a number, because I'm just going to take in whole numbers for this. So input integers. Name is going to be velocity -1. We'll create the ID equal to velocity -1 as well. Going to copy this, And I'll create another div with the class of margin bottom 3. Paste this in. This time, though, we want velocity 2. So I'm just going to change all these to 2s. Not S, 2. There we go. Okay, and we're good to go there. And then we have another div. Oops, let's not do that. Another div with a class of margin bottom 3. We're going to have a label. And this time it's going to be for distance / apart. And I'm going to say, or how far in miles are the trains apart? Okay, and we're going to have an input, and the type is going to be number. And then here we are going to have, let's just say distance apart. And this is going to be an ID. Okay, and all of these, I think what I need to do is, all of these I want a class of form control. Okay, so now I've got a class of form control in all of those. And then we finally want another div, class of margin bottom 3, and an input, this time with the type of submit. Name is going to be submit. We'll give it an ID of submit. And we'll give it a class equal to btn and then btn-primary. Okay, all right, so now we've got our form. Let's bring up a terminal here. Now I was doing this on a demonstration, so I'm going to cd out of this and then cd into trains/YouTube-2, I think is what I called it. And we're going to open up a server by typing php-s localhost :8000. So I'm opening it on 8000. And I'm going to go over here. Let's just close this out. And we'll reopen this with localhost 8000. So we've got speed, train 1, train 2, and how far the trains are apart, and a submit button. Let's go back up to the top here. And near the top, what I do want to include is right under here is just a paragraph. Note, this assumes that the trains start at the same time. Maybe later on in the weekend, I'll do something where they start at different times. Okay, so now we've got our front page built. All right, so let's go to our form page. Again, I'm going to create an HTML framework. We want viewports. So, scrolling a little weird here. So I'm going to do Control-C and just copy the viewport tag over. Okay, title is going to be form for the trains or something like that. Again, I'm going to go back here, copy the Bootstrap CSS. Let's just make a little comment. Bootstrap CSS. And then below there, let's paste in the Bootstrap CSS. I want to toggle soft wrap, just make it a little bit easier to see. There we go. Okay, we also want the Bootstrap JS just as a good habit. So let's put the bundle in here. Okay, and let's copy that over. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this line. I'm going to copy it into here. I don't need my script source for this page, but I am going to create a div with a class of container and also a class of margin top 5, padding top 5. Below that, I'm going to create a div with a class of row. Below that, I'm going to create a div with a class of column breakpoint medium 4 columns across, offset dash breakpoint medium 4 columns across. Okay. Now in this div, I want to open up a PHP tag and I want to include underscore once and then form handler.php And I think that's it for this page. Okay. In the form handler page, we're going to open up a PHP tag, and we're going to have a conditional here. We're going to say if is set, and then inside of here, the super global post submit, meaning they click the submit button. If that happens, well, then we want to set some variables. We want to say that velocity _1 equals the super global velocity -1. Okay. And let's Control C, Control V. I want to change this to velocity 2 here. And then I also want the distance _apart is going to equal the super global post and distance -apart. That's what I called it. Semicolon there. All right. Let's create a class. We're going to call that trains. And then in the class, we're going to have public. We'll use the public keyword. We'll say velocity _1. And copy this, change this to 2 as well. And then we'll have public and then distance apart. Okay. And then we're going to have a method. And so that's going to be a function, and we'll call that time to meet. And we're going to pass in velocity 1, velocity 2, and the distance apart. And then in the function, we're going to say that this, do an arrow, velocity _1 equals velocity _1. And we'll do that for velocity 2 as well. Okay, and then we'll also say this distance apart equals variable distance apart. Okay, all right, so now let me bring up Draw Island here. So I have this, and pretend this is a D. So I say distance minus the velocity 1 times time equals the velocity 2 times time. That's our equation. If we rearrange this, we get distance equals velocity 1 plus velocity 2 times time. Divide both sides by velocity 1 plus velocity 2, and we get the time, which is what we're looking for. So we're going to say time equals, then we're going to say this, and then distance apart, divide that by this, and then velocity 1 plus this, and then velocity 2. Okay. All right. And then we're going to, at the end of this function, return time. Okay. We want to get out of here. And now we want to say, we want to create a new object. So we're going to say something like, I don't know, when meet. Let's call it when meet. That's going to be a new trains. And we're then going to call the function when meet, use the arrow function, and then we'll call the function. So we'll say time to meet. We'll pass in velocity 1, pass in velocity 2, and pass in the distance apart. And let's go back here and we'll set a variable. We'll say time meet equals that. Okay, so all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to echo something like the 2 trains will meet in space, semicolon, then let's echo time meet, and then let's echo in hour or hours, something like that. Okay, and then do the semicolon at the end. Okay, let's test this and see where we're at. So we're going to refresh everything. Okay, what is the speed of train 1? Let's say 40. Train 2 is going at 60. How many miles, or how far in miles are the trains apart? Let's say 100. Okay, so it says the two trains will meet in 1 hour. 1 hours. Okay, so now under here, what I'm going to create is another div, and we're going to have a class of margin bottom 3. And then inside of here, we're going to have a button, and button type is going to be button. The name is going to be yes. And we're going to have a class equal to btn-primary. Okay, let's copy another one down there, and let's call this one no. And we'll say no, and here we'll say yes, and we'll come above here and just do like a paragraph and say, do you want to make another calculation? And then we'll go down here and just have a paragraph, and let's make the paragraph ID of response or something like that, and just leave it blank. Okay, and go over here, and I'm going to do a space and type on click equals. All right, so let's do the first one. So it's going to be on click equals another calc, and we'll have a function, and then on click here is going to equal thank you. Okay. All right, and let's go to our script, and let's do a function, which is another calc. Okay, and we're going to do window location. I want to say window location, and then href, and I'm just going to do a dot index.php. I may need to fix that, but let's see if that works right now. So let's refresh. Okay, click yes. So we want to check our JavaScript here, and developer tools. What's going on? Another calc is not defined. Okay, so maybe I spelled this wrong. Let me check that. All right, so form another calc. On click equals another calc. Oh, yeah, you know what we need to do is linked in the script here. Sorry. So I'll say my script, and then we'll just say script source is going to be script.js. All right, let's refresh this, and let's close it out, make sure that's good. Okay, so that reloads. Okay, so that's working. All right, great. So that's if they want another calculation. If they don't, what we want to do is just put something in the response, like thank you for using the program. So I'm going to create another function, and I think I called it thank you. Yeah, it's auto-suggesting, saying yes, you did. Okay, and then we're going to have a const equal to response, and that's going to be, we're going to use document. Let me move this out of the way here for a minute here for you. we're going to use document-get element by ID, and then we're going to get the response element. Okay, and we're going to say response.inner HTML. Wow, sorry if I can spell. HTML equals, I like using backticks, but you can use single quotes or double quotes for this. Something like, thank you for using this program. Okay, and let's test it. All right, so we've got our program here. Let's say 40. Let's do 56 this time. Let's do 986 miles apart. So trains are going to meet in 10.27 hours. Do I want to make a new calculation? Do yes. Okay. What is the speed of train 1? Let's say 45. What is the speed of train 2? 91. Let's say this time they're 756 miles apart. We submit. Do you want to make another calculation? Let's say no. And we've got a little bit of an error. So let's check that. Okay. And go to developer tools here and look in the console. And it's not showing me the error. Let's take a look. Unclick. Oh, thank you. We have to have parentheses after that. Okay. Let's close this out. Refresh. Sometimes it's helpful to see me make errors and stuff. Do you want to make another calculation? No. Thank you for using this program. So now the program works. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I also want to thank you if you have subscribed and liked or hit the bell for notifications on my videos. It really helps the channel grow, and it helps to continue to encourage me to make videos like this. If you have any suggestions on kinds of videos, like little programs that you would want made, please leave them in the comments below. And I thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one, hopefully. So have a good evening.